What up, dude? And welcome to Free for All Friday. It's your man, Curt, Steele, man. Glad to be back. Happy to see everyone, man. Good afternoon, good morning, good night, whatever it is, man. It's good to be back, man. Let's get introduce the panel for today, man. First up, we got the co-creator of Lions on the Prowl. We got my man, Maniac Tim. What's going on, Timmy?
Oh, I'm just here. I'm back too because I've been gone the last couple weeks too. It's been a crazy couple weeks, but it's great to be back. It is.
Yes, it is, man. We got some catching up to do for everybody. And y'all see a man rocking the Homer Simpson, man. It's my man Luke G of Luke G's Field Review. What's going on, Luke?
Mike's off.
Next, muted again. Okay, there
I said, hey, look, I'm happy to be here. It's funny. I managed to keep two bald-headed guys, one of them yellow and one of them African American. So it's all good, brother. Everything's working out.
Man, let's get into the chat, man, right quick, man. We got my man Michael Hutt, which live. Good morning, happy Friday. Good morning, my man. Dan Spanos in the building. What's going on, Dan? What's going on? King SJ is in the building. TGIF. We got my man Paul Jarose, the Jazzy ones in the building. What's going on, Paul? And my man Eric Wallace, like I said, is in the building. Says good morning, all. Man, we got some catching up to do. We haven't been around. I went on vacation. I got sick on vacation, so I was out. Tim's been gone, and my man Luke G hasn't been gone. Shout out to Val, man, for holding it down while I was out. She, dealing with some stuff, but she's out today, so she won't be in today. But shout out to her. Shout out to my boys, my man LL Couturance, Coach Mike Jones. Our Monday, Wednesday crew that we do it, man. But let's talk a little bit of ball, man. We talk Detroit Lions in a minute. Shaman, what's going on, fella? What's going on, big time? All right, let's get into it because I've been wondering about this question, and I wanted to know what you guys thought about this. Were you satisfied with the Lions 9-8 record? Why or why not? Timmy, what you got? Were you satisfied with the record this year?
I wanted 10 wins or better. So to say that I was satisfied with the record, no. I mean, no. I appreciate how much they came, how improved they were. Mm-hmm. But I just would have liked a better start at the beginning of the season. I think this should have been a playoff team. It could have been if they wouldn't have taken so long. So was I satisfied? It still left a sour taste in my mouth at the end of the year.
Well, that's, hey, honesty is the best policy, brother. Luke G, what you got, man? Were you satisfied with the 9-8 record?
No, I mean, like Tim, I thought that this year was set up for us to really make a run. And I felt that, the 9 home games, I looked at the teams we were going against. Most of them were in the middle of a rebuild or a first-year head coach or, I'm like, hey, we got opportunities here, and, I'm disappointed because we could have done some things differently, but we didn't. We didn't have certain things that we would have usually had. And so, to say satisfied, that would imply that, I was happy, that we just went 9-8. No, I was happy we fought. I was happy we never gave up. I was happy we got back to a winning record. But I'm not happy we didn't make the playoffs. When I looked at the teams who got in there, I'm like, we could have beat them teams. Like, we could have beat Dallas. We could have beat the 49ers. We could have beat Seattle. Well, people say, we already played Seattle and we lost. Yeah, but the defense was the problem. And that's one of the things that I looked at. So satisfaction is a little bit hard to come by.
Okay, I feel you. For me, I want to take a different angle from you guys. When I say I was satisfied, not completely. Was I satisfied some? Absolutely, because I picked the Lions to go between 7 and 10 wins. So they met my expectations, at least getting to 7 wins, getting to 9 wins. Anything after 7 for me, I was like, okay, we doubled we tripled our win total from last year. We only won 3 wins last year. Now we tripled that. Now we got 9. Do I think that the disappointing game for me was the Carolina game, and I was in attendance. And that was the game. That was the game that we. that was in attendance. I was in attendance that game. I drove 2.5 hours down to Charlotte, and I was like, "You mother dirty suckers!" But at the end of the day, what made it better for me, what made it all kind of like come full circle, and I was like, okay, I can deal with this season being what it was, is the fact that we absolutely just went into Lambeau Field and handled our business that last week of the season on national TV. The only national stage that we had that was like just us on TV at that time, because of course we had the Thanksgiving game, but that wasn't prime time TV, and that wasn't like you got the teams, two teams fighting out. If one team wins, they're in the playoffs, and everyone's talking that trash and the Packers are gonna win. There's no way that they can lose to Detroit. It's just Detroit. They're gonna go ahead and do this and win and blah blah whoop de whoop. And the Lions went in there were like, psych your mind. And the way that Dan Campbell showed his pettiness on that telecast to the reporter, she asked him, "What is your motivation? Because you guys are already out of the playoffs." He said, straight in the camera, "We don't want them to go." I mean, for that level of petty, and for us, that was my satisfaction for not making the playoffs, was to knock the Packers out of the playoffs. That was my satisfaction. That was my like, okay, we didn't get where I really wanted to go, but at least we stopped their ass from going. And I saw a lady this morning. I went to Sam's Club to pick up some things for the family. And lo and behold, of course, I'm rocking Lions gear. I got a fresh Lions hat on. I got a Lions hoodie on. And she's got her Green Bay Packers hoodie on. And I said, yeah, I hope you have fun with the division, because it's not coming back anytime soon. She looked at me. She's like, yeah. She couldn't say anything, because the Lions have beat the Packers the last 3 times we played them.
True.
3 out of the last 4. And this year, both games, we kind of just handled them. To be honest with you, I mean, I won't say we beat them down, but we handled them. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, we handled them, and it was like, and I won't be like the guy, like the Cincinnati mayor, saying that somebody take a paternity test, but the young fella, Kirby Joseph, owned Aaron Rodgers. He picked him out 3 times. I think he's the only player to hit, like he's the only player to do that, right? To pick Aaron Rodgers off 3 times in one season. Like, Aaron Rodgers was absolutely ass this year. He was butt cheeks. And for real, I mean, Aaron Rodgers was terrible. I mean, think about him last year compared to this year. And we took advantage of that, and we handled our business. But what I say, I'm satisfied. Absolutely not 100%, but I was happy with the way that we finished the season.
I feel like a lot of people treated that Packer game like a Super Bowl, and I didn't. I
wasn't like a Super Bowl. I was more happy because I hate the Packers.
Yeah,
it wasn't a Super Bowl.
Everybody hates it.
It wasn't a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I get it. I feel like I said, I feel like to a lot of people they treated it like, oh, this is our Super Bowl. But for me, I didn't care about it. To me, it was more about, were y'all going to lay down? Because at that point, you had multiple opportunities to win the division. You had multiple opportunities to take your destiny in your own hands, and you squandered it away at the end of the day. And they're not satisfied. I was watching something the other day where I think it's Good Morning Football, where they had Jamal Wilson, and he wasn't satisfied with the outcome. A lot of the players wasn't satisfied with the outcome.
They weren't at all.
And so, so I think any fan who is satisfied with the outcome, great. But just know that the competitive side of me and the competitive side of like, Tim and Curt is in line with the team. We're not satisfied just because we went 9-8. Right. We're not satisfied because we got 9 wins where we only had 3. We shouldn't have had 3 wins last year. Yeah. So, but yeah, I think overall, having satisfaction, whether you have it or not, is cool. I just think for me, it's about closing the deal. I want to always close the deal, and I feel like we didn't do it.
Yeah, we got to get. We definitely got some holes. We got to get better. We got to fix that defense. The offense definitely was one of the things that was, I won't say a surprise, because the offense finished the season quite well last year, right. But this year it was like they picked up and they got better. They had some lows And you think about some of the games that we won in that middle part of the season where we had like guys from Walmart playing wide receiver. We had like one starter, Amon-Ra St. Brown playing wide. Then he went out. So we were scraping the barrel for receivers, and we still were winning games. I mean, it is what it is. We kept fighting. Satisfied, no, but it gives me hope for the future. How about that?
Yeah, I listen. I think it's a great question to ask, though. I think you have to ask that question because some people are going to be happy with that. But my thing is about expectations. If your expectations was like, because one thing people may have missed that Curt said, Curt had them win how many games? Seven,
between 7 and 10. That's what I had them at.
So the fact that they met his expectations, that's why he's like, okay, I'm not satisfied with it. But they met my expectations by getting more than the number that I had. They were one under where I had them at max and just two above where I had them at on the men's side. So, but for me, I had them at 10 wins. So they never met my expectations. So this is why I don't have the same response as Curt. Right. So I just wanted to point that out.
And same because Tim had them at 11. You had them at 11 and 11. And 6.
I said 10 or better. That's
10 or better. Okay.
10
so
or better.
I mean, everybody's going to have a mixed reaction to the season. But like you said, I like the fact that, and I think the most, I guess gratifying, not satisfying, the most gratifying is that you had a team that was at 1-6 and we started off terrible. And to finish the season the way we did, winning, what was it, 8 of the last 10 games, that was, but but Luke G, like you said, we squandered the opportunities when we did. The team did. I mean, like
that Carolina. I mean,
that Carolina game hurt. It hurt me personally because I was there. Yeah. Like I tell you, like it was cold as shit out there. I was like,
and it was an ass whipping too. You gotta look at it.
But it was
not just a close game. It was
a beat down, and I was looking at this thing like, where
it was. It was the worst loss of the season. Yeah. Everybody talked about that New England game, but no, it was
because of the ramifications of that game. It made it worse.
Yeah. And but no, that wasn't even what it was though. For me, you know what it was, and it's probably because I had this happen to me in my football life. When a team can run the ball down your throat like that and you can't do nothing about it, it's demoralizing.
It was, and I was like, "Where is this? Where is it? This team hasn't been the same." And that wasn't the same because, like, I'm getting to that, and I'm like, "Where is this? Where has this guy's been? This I'm not used to watching this because I was used to because the Lions' run defense was better. You think about all the guys that they were held under 100 yards, or what they did to Dalvin Cook and some of the other stuff they did in the earlier in some of those running backs, and I'm like, okay. And they went into Carolina, and it was like terrible. And I know there
240,
yeah,
240 yards in the first half.
Yeah, it was.
And then we got excuses from them too.
Yeah, I mean, like,
it was so cold, and it was.
I will say this. Upon further review, because you got to go for a review. Now, I was there, and it was cold as shit down there. Now, I will say this. Even the NFL Players Association complained about the surface at the stadium. And that stadium was Bermuda grass until this year. Well, last year, I'm sorry. They changed it when they got an MLS team for some reason. Because you remember Cam Newton was there, it was grass. It wasn't that field, that slit, what do you call that? Slit film, like turf, the field turf. And that shit's hard as a brick. And is it an excuse? No. I understand what they were saying. They played timid on that surface, but the Carolina Panthers didn't play timid on that surface. So they came out there and they did a ball. So once we got into a rhythm, it was already too late. We were getting there. Our ass was already handed to us. So, and it was just like, But I will say this: the one thing I will say that kind of for me as a fan. In the South, and y'all don't know about open air stadiums in the South, they put the visitors bench and the visiting fans in the sun. And that worked out well for me because shit, it was
they do that in Miami too. Yeah, Miami is designed to make it unbearable for the visiting team. So
And shout out to Michael Huck and Nicole, man. I hung out with them guys at the game, man, and that was a great experience, man. Shout out to Michael Huck's in the chat, man. Lady Lionel's a douchebag, man. So it was some fun. I had fun at the game because that was my first ever NFL game. But I will. I don't know. I ain't gonna tell you when, but one day you're gonna see Curt Steele at Ford Field catching the game. So you know what I'm saying, you're gonna blink and I'm gonna be up there checking y'all out right there. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna make this trek up from North Carolina. So let's ask a few more questions, man. Now this was and I got a different take on this. Give me your thoughts on Deuce Staley going to the Panthers. Now, unless the people were tripping, but it came out and Justin Rogers said it on Twitter, is that the reason that he's going to Carolina is that his mother fell ill. She has some health issues, and he's from Columbia, which is only about an hour and a half from Charlotte. So it's pretty close. So it's like right there. So what do you guys think about that? Give me your thoughts, just your initial thoughts on him leaving the coaching staff to go to Carolina.
For me, I was excited and I was happy because I understand that you can't keep all these coaches, but it was more so me just saying my view and belief of Sheila Ford was 100% accurate. Everybody chewed me a new one for celebrating when she took over. She's still a Ford. I said, but she knows how to text. But she's still a Ford. I said, she knows how to go on social media and do Facebook. But she's still a Ford. And to me, she's more in tune with a competitor because she's been a competitor. She wants to win. And to allow this man to say, you know what? Yeah, you can go and be employed with somebody else, you know what I'm saying, and take that job. You know, she could have stopped it and caused some problems and disrupted it and disrupted the whole process. But to sit there and say, hey, you know, this, because what I heard was she got wind that the position was open and suggested that, hey, you know, this could put you closer to your mother. And so to me, to know that you got an owner who can understand that and say, hey, do it. You got a head coach who's like, man, go do this. This is great. Even though, you know, we got to play y'all next year. Yeah, go over there and have fun. And it's great for him because I'm sure he don't want to just be a running backs coach. At some point, he want to be a head coach. And so it's an opportunity for everybody. It's a win-win for everybody. Nobody should be sad. Nobody should be frustrated. This is great news on all parts. That's how I viewed it.
Right. You look at that situation and I'm like, you know, and I was in a situation where my mom had cancer and, you know, I watched her like I was in the military at the time. So, and I was blessed to have a chain of command that understood, you know, and let me go home every couple of weeks. Like I was like 2 weeks at home and then 2 weeks back in Michigan with my mom until she passed away. And that went on for like 6 months. And to have people who have empathy and understanding, I get that. And does it from one aspect from me is that, yes, he's a good coach. He's a great coach. He's a good motivator. And he helped take our running game to a different level. I get that part. I think the one thing that is a little bit disheartening for me is what he brought with competitiveness to the team. Because even we talked about Jamal Williams, we were talking about the Good Morning Football interview. He was talking about how the Aaron Glenn and the Deuce Staley competitiveness on the sidelines during practice spilled over onto the field where they were being competitive, and that pushed the players to be more competitive on the field, you know, iron sharper iron again in practice. So I think that's one thing that we need to find someone that's going to have that same type of intensity. It's not going to be the same with Aaron Glenn and somebody else because Deuce Staley and Aaron Glenn, they played around the same time. So they developed a close relationship, but I like the fact that was what his role was. And we're going to miss him in Detroit. But for you to go home and take care of your mother, who is going to say no to that? You know what I'm saying? Who is going to be the jackass to be like, well, I don't want him to go because, you know, he was going to leave a hole in our coaching staff. It's bigger than football. You know what I'm saying? It's bigger than football. But, you know, good luck to him, man. But hopefully we can find someone with that competitive nature to come in and fill that roster spot because he kind of was a mouthpiece.
I think they already here. Well. I think they're here. Dan Campbell does it. Randall Well talks crap. Dre Bly joining the group is going to be over there with Aaron talking trash too. So it's going to always be that way. And given what I heard on the 33rd with the St. Brown brothers, we practice different. right?
Yeah,
They were talking to Chalk, and they was like, "Oh no, man, we out here full contact. This ain't no game. They want the best out of you."
Mm-hmm.
And and even if it wasn't for his mother, it's still
Mm-hmm.
good news.
Yeah.
This is the thing. Nobody cries when a coach leaves New England because they got Bill Belichick.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I don't cry when a coach leaves. I believe in Dan Campbell.
Yeah, I believe in him too. And I believe he will find that person, that competitive edge. I just like Deuce Staley. You know what I'm saying? It's just and I'm sad that he's leaving. I'm not sad at all. You know what I'm saying? But that was just one thing that kind of popped into my head about the competitive nature and what you're gonna miss some things about him. But at the end of the day, it's more important for him to do what he needs to go do and take care of his business. You know what I'm saying, with his family. What you got, Tim?
Okay. Well, of course. Excuse. Sorry. Yeah, it's understandable, and you only have one mother. You only have one set of parents, so I can see that. I can understand that. And hey, that was definitely a class act of Sheila Ford or Sheila Hemp going ahead and making it easy for him to do it. And if she suggested it, that's even more, more credit to her, because it shows that you care about the person. I mean, yeah, I care about winning. I care about that, but I mean, I lost my mom too, and I was able to be near her and stuff like that, and I would like to be there with her, but we will miss part of the aspect. But a good team will go ahead and change around and figure out ways about it. We got to trust in Dan Campbell to replace him. Best of luck to Daly as far as go ahead and win every game but against the Lions. And best of luck with him and his mom.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely wish him all the, and that will make me want to trek down to, to Carolina and catch a game down there, even if the Lions aren't in town, just because I can just go in there, maybe get an opportunity to, say hi, wear my Lions stuff and say what's up to him. Let's get to some of the questions in the chat, because we got to get to y'all, man, because y'all are always saying something good in the chat. Wally Ruvula had a question. Let me make sure I pull this up. He says, why doesn't all NFL surfaces that are outside have heaters underneath the fields? It makes sense for the natural grass, because Lambeau's a heated field, but you can't. There's not a really
because different owners have different amounts of money.
And
so different cities spend money.
I don't think that's a obtainable thing with the synthetic fields, because you run into damaging the actual playing surface with the heated underneath it. So I'm not sure. I'm not an expert on field turf.
It's money, man. It's money. It's money, Curt. Like, think about it, right? Oakland. All Oakland wanted to stay in Oakland was a new stadium. They people was not willing. They people was not willing to pay that higher tax to have a freaking football stadium that they got to pay a lot of money to go into. Detroit was willing to pay that tax to have a football stadium, because we got tired of driving a freaking Pontiac. So it was like, yo, we wanted this, and it just boiled down to that. So for example, this year, Lions getting a new field. Why? Because they have the money. They ownership has the money. They can do it, and so that's why you don't have it on everyone. It's not like a requirement. Because in my opinion, every stadium should look like the Dallas Cowboys. I want the biggest TV screen ever. I shouldn't even have to. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need a TV so stupid that's like you just like you feel like you own it.
Yeah,
I
feel
you. Just say it's money though. That's what it is. It's boiled out of money.
Baltimore next year. You know what, Mike? I might be able to do that. I got some family members up there. I might take the train up there and then take the train back. You never know. But I'll think about that one, definitely. All right. So Cap Ice Coach said, like, all our coaches are wanted and are being looked at. Period.
Agree.
You knew you was gonna get that. Especially when we start having some success. I think that was going to happen, just because of the fact that. But you look at, and we're going to talk about the coaching staff again here in a minute, about the rotation that's going on right now with the coaching staff. But these guys, you knew you weren't going to be able to keep this coaching staff together very long. It wasn't going to happen. All right. What does Swift think about Deuce leaving? I haven't heard him say anything. You know, Deuce is, Swift is kind of quiet dude. So, but
plus, I think people, depending on how you looked at it, if you watch Hard Knocks, you might think that, oh, Deuce didn't like Swift and Swift didn't like Deuce. No, Deuce says Swift can be the best. He can be one of the best running backs in NFL history.
Mm-hmm.
And he needs, and when you look at it, and I hate to break it down like this, but Kobe Bryant talked about this. He said, Kobe Bryant talked about. He said, I needed to go get the best person that can push me beyond where I was at. Yep. And so that's why he wanted Phil Jackson. He wanted somebody that he felt can push him. And anytime you want to do anything great, you get the right coach to do it. That's just the way it works.
Okay.
Yep.
I feel you. What is that? If Glenn leaves, how should the Lions get Wilkes of the DC? Wilkes is a good coach, and I think he got kind of holes down there in Carolina, but that's just me. But yeah, I would not be opposed to that at all. All right, so Draft Wire mocks Tampa gives us the third round for next year's first for a 6. I don't know what that with the number. Does that Draft Wire have credibility with a stupid trade like that? I don't even know who Draft Wire is, but Tampa, I don't know what Tampa's going to do that because of the fact that they are in the market for a quarterback right now. So it's going to be some movement in the top of the draft for a quarterback now. There's a few teams that lost quarterbacks, and you look at some of the teams that's not going to get quarterbacks back for a while. So it's going to be a run on some quarterbacks that may push some people down to us. So I mean, we'll see.
Speaking of quarterbacks, I hope Aaron Rodgers stays right with the Green Bay Packers because I don't want him to get like 3 draft picks for him. I mean, and I think he's pretty well done anyway. He may have a couple good years left, but I don't want Aaron Rodgers traded.
It's going to be hard to trade him because of the fact that his age and what that contract looks like. That money is going to be a trip. All right.
But the Jets are dumb enough to do it.
Okay.
Just saying.
This is very true.
But this is the reality though. Like even like Aaron Rodgers, I feel like sometimes the myth is bigger than the legend in most cases because like if he gets traded out of the division, it don't matter. You got to still handle your business, right? But I just look at it like this. Again, I'm a Lions fan, but I'm also a Bucks and a Seahawks fan, right? I was happy when Tom Brady retired. Like, thank Jesus, he's gone. And the Buccaneers' focus in terms of a quarterback is not going to necessarily be one towards the top end of the draft because they have options. Everybody's going to be trying to figure out who can they trade, who's going to win the Derek Carr sweepstakes. That's the guy that people are going to be looking at.
Yeah. And so that was funny yesterday when he said after the skills competition. That was funny.
Yeah, like to me, you want to make sure that this is what I'm worried about when it comes to Green Bay. I'm worried about them getting a mobile quarterback, and I haven't seen enough in this defense to think that they can stop a mobile quarterback. So that's what I'm saying.
I feel exactly what you're saying. I feel exactly what you're saying. All right, so which pending Detroit Lions free agents that Lions have a priority to re-sign? So the guy that's on the team right now that's going to be a free agent here in a couple of weeks when the new league year starts in about another month. Which guy do you think the Lions should have a priority to re-sign? What you got, Tim? What guy you think the Lions should just re-sign?
Well, of course, there's Williams. I mean, I want to see them bring back Williams with
Jamal
what he
Williams.
did.
Okay.
Yeah, Jamal Williams. That
1,000-yard rushing led the NFL in rushing touchdowns. Okay.
Oh yeah, and it's just because what he brings to not only on the field but off the field, because his passion and also in excelling, the way he lifts players to do better, and that's another reason why I want to see him back. Yeah.
Hey, do us a favor, man. Before I get to Luke G, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and like the video, man. Give us a comment in the comment section of the video. We want to see you right back here. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Luke G, what you got, man? Which pending Detroit Lions free agents should they have a priority to re-sign?
James Houston. I mean, everybody else can walk. I ain't listen. James Houston.
He signed a 2-year deal. So he's on.
I thought it was a 1. I thought I read it was a 1. Okay, because I'm like, look, if he's got to walk, everybody else can go. I got to keep James Houston.
No,
I don't care what.
Nah, it was a 2-year deal. It was.
Oh man, listen.
Yeah,
I remember reading something a while back that said they just signed him, and I'm like, oh, it's a 1-year deal. No, we got to keep that guy.
Nah.
But yeah, since he got another year, I probably, to be honest, I had to re-up on him. Like, let me give him a little bit of an extension going on. But in my opinion, I believe that they have to re-sign. God, I can't even believe I'm going to say this one my damn self. No, I'm just saying I can't believe I'm going to say this one myself, but I can't. No, I can't. No, it's not. I can't do it.
I mean, if it's the truth, you need to say it.
Yeah,
but it's not the truth, though. It's not the truth. That's a problem. I feel like most of the people we have can be replaced, including Jamal Williams, including Chart. I feel like you can replace those people. Okay. And when I look at these people that are here, if it's one person you might want to re-sign, at best, it's Kominski at best. But even that's just yeah. I mean, I think that most of them guys can be replaced. That defense was not good.
Okay,
them guys were very meh at best.
They were, especially that first part of the season. You can't say they didn't play better toward that in the second half of the season. Of course, they weren't perfect. Of course, because you still have to look at the numbers. Numbers don't lie, men women lie. Numbers don't. But the numbers were what they were. Did we have some bright spots, some nice flashes? Yeah, you can. For me, one guy that I'll say, okay, this is the one guy I think that we should re-sign. It would probably be a mix between either Jamal Williams or I even like Isaiah Buggs because you can get him. We can get him for cheap. And he has some.
You can get him back as a free agent, Curt.
Yeah, I mean, you can. I mean, you can.
Meaning like you don't even got to touch him, and he'll just be able to come back. It's not like But go ahead. That's what I said. They just so mad. Go ahead. They mad.
I liked Isaiah Buggs. I like his leadership on the team. I like what he brought. Was he perfect during the season? Hell no, because nobody was perfect because the defense still sucked at times. But I like. I mean, the truth is the truth, but he did have some good flashes, and I think he can grow in his defense. That's what I'm like. Because if you look at him, he was invisible in Pittsburgh. You know what I'm saying? Who the hell knew who he was? I didn't know who the hell was. I'm like, who the hell is this guy? But he came and he did what he needed to do. I think to kind of revitalize his career and to kind of, I think he earned a nice little resign. He might be I'm not saying resign him to be a starter. I mean, you can resign him to be a depth piece. I mean, it is what it is. But I do like him. I do like what the leadership he brought to the team. Now let's see what they say in the comments because are they getting mad in the comment section, man?
I'm telling you, I see a lot of meh, okay players like.
Okay. And I mean, you have to speak your own truth because you see what you want to see. I mean, or you see how you're going to see it. I'm sorry, not what you want to see, but you see how you see it.
Yeah,
you have your own opinion, Luke G.
Yeah. And maybe this question will maybe better asked once we see what we get in the draft and who can fill the holes that we don't get.
Well, the only thing is that what is that? Free agency is going to start before the draft.
Oh yeah.
So free agency is in March. Draft ain't to the end of April. So
and next year the draft is in Detroit. So I'm already getting. I told my supervisor already. I said, "Hey, I'm just letting you know right now.
Yeah.
That whole entire week I ain't gonna be there. Yeah, don't even look for me.
I'm gonna put in vacation for that week too, Luke.
Yeah,
I am. It's just like, don't.
But it's one of those things that the guys that and these guys are talking about they want to come. But here's the deal: they want to come back, and that's the one thing. And I was listening to Jeremy Reisman last night on Road Lines UK. He was talking about how you're talking about guys that want to come back, and that's something that we haven't had in Detroit in long. That they want to be here in Detroit. They want to come back. They're asking to come back. They're saying, "Hey, you ain't got to pay me a big contract. I'll come back." You know what I'm saying? So you don't hear that in the city in Detroit. People were trying to get that on the first thing out of Detroit. But they, these guys are talking about they want to come back, and that's a testament to the coaching staff and to the ownership, to the new ownership. And you look at a young player and like a leader like the young fella Amon-Ra St. Brown. I've said this before, and I've heard him say this quote. He said, if you're not going to play or you're not going to buy into what we're doing in Detroit, we don't want you here. So,
right.
I mean, that's going to be a big part of being in free agency. So speaking of free agency, because I want to ask you this, Luke, because this is one thing I think that you have an interesting take on. What do you think the Lions will do in free agency?
They're gonna they're gonna finally do what they're supposed to do 2 years ago, which is add veteran leadership at every level. So they're hoping that the leadership that they get from the rookies and people like Pascal and hopefully Aiden can do that on the D line. They're hoping they can get that from that area, right? Mm-hmm. And the linebackers, God be with us. I hope they realize that we don't need the leadership of Alex Anzalone and some of these other guys. They can go. But I think looking at this, if I'm them going into this free agency, looking at this free agency, where is that and where I can still get a good player for the low end, is secondary. And I think they add a veteran in the secondary. It's a few names that came up that I'm not too like Dean from the Buccaneers. He's just okay. But I think they really add impact player on all three levels now. And that's the goal.
Defense.
Other defense. Other defense.
Linebacker and someone in the secondary.
But I think they started off with the big acquisition being a cornerback, because you got Hughes, who's going to be a free agent. You got Elliott, who's a free agent. And so you're going to have to fill those spots. I wish they had just gone ahead and move Okudah to his natural position and take Iffy away from his unnatural position. So see how that go. But I feel like they're going to start to do what I wanted them to do last year. If they did what I wanted them to do this past draft, we in the playoffs and probably would have even made it to the NFC Championship game.
Okay, I feel you. What you got, Tim? What do you think they do in free agency?
Sure up that defense, because that's really what we need. We need those playmakers on the defense to just go ahead and I would really like to see them get a corner, because we really need those impact players on the defense.
I think that the veteran leader in the secondary, as far as the cornerback position, is key. Just because of the fact that we're so young and we don't have a true standout leader at corner.
Right.
We have it at safety, but we don't have it at corner.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to be a thing. I'm not sure, what I'm saying. You got a player like Elliott, he fills a role, but I'm not sure that he's going to be back in the fold with a healthy Tracy Walker coming back. And then with the emergence of Joseph. So you look at those two guys, those are good. I think that's going to be your starting safeties next year. It's going to be Joseph and Walker.
Curt, I'm not trying to be different. People think I just do this on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
A backfield with Kirby Joseph and Tracy Walker scares me. Not in a good way. I believe Kirby Joseph is just basically Tracy Walker 2.0.
It could
They
be.
are literally the same players. I don't know if I want both of them just back there. I need somebody.
Well, the only thing I think Tracy Walker could play in the box. I don't think Kirby Joseph is a box safety. He doesn't have that.
See, I don't think Tracy Walker can play in the box. That's why he looked so bad in Patricia. They kept him up at that, and it was not good. It was like that. I don't think he can play in the box, and that's why I'm like, you need to get a more physical safety. And you know what? It's a person out there that I think would fit that mold perfectly, but it's coming into this draft, but he played corner, and I'm like, when I watch him, I don't see a corner. That's a safety that he could be the next Steve Atwater. That's how physical he is, in my opinion.
So what would you think? Would you think it'd be better with Okudah and Walker playing the safety position?
Yes, because Okudah's more physical than Kirby and Walker.
Okay. But I do think that we need some leadership in that cornerback room. I just think we need that veteran leader because we're so young, and we need some either we need some leadership. We don't know if it may not have to be a veteran. It could be a young guy, but we need a shutdown corner. We need somebody that shuts down half the damn field, and we don't have that in Detroit right now.
Well, that's what we took third overall, I thought, but
it was for me for that pick. I never thought that was his role. It was going to be his role in Detroit. Just looking at and not saying that I didn't think he was going to be a good player coming in. I kind of like was, what do you call that? I was kind of like not on the fence. I was just like, let's wait and see with him when we drafted him. I was like, okay, we drafted that guy. We wait and see, what can he do? A lot of people didn't like that pick, because of the fact that, but maybe we'll see. I mean, I think I'm with you, Luke G. I think he needs to think he needs to play safety. He hits hard. He has the size, and he's great in run support.
Yep, he don't shy away from contact. I love that physicality. It's just, you know what? And this, I was gonna say this for my show later, but I'm just gonna tell it right now. There are 3 teams that I'm calling up with great trade offers that people ain't gonna like, and I'm telling you what it is right now. I'm calling up right now the Arizona Cardinals and being like, "Hey, what you want for Isaiah Simmons?" And if they say anything to the effect of a 2nd-round pick, sold, because if you offer, they say we want a 2nd-round pick, and I go, "Hey, I can give you a 3rd and a 5th," and they go, "All right, I guess we can do it. I give you a 3rd and 5th, and I'll give you this player, right? Whoever that player is." So, because to me, if you bring Isaiah Simmons in and say, "Hey, I want you to lose a little weight," you're going back to the strong safety. Now, Isaiah Simmons has strong safety with Kirby and Walker, and you can move, and you can start to move Isaiah Simmons into the box to play linebacker. You get options. But that's one of the teams I would love to see the Lions get a phone call to and make a call. And the other one, because Deuce is going over there, is Carolina. Because I know that there's some people that they're going to be willing to trade for capital that they don't want to lose. And I be trying to figure out what's up with people like Jeremy Chin. How he doing? Is he happy? You don't know if he happy or not? Are y'all happy with him? I hear he like milk and cookies. I got some milk and cookies. I mean, I'm looking to make moves that bring people here who can bring a physicality to the team that we are trying to build. And then the third team I will call up, because I know that they got to be desperate and willing to get ready to sell their soul to the devil. It's got to be the Oakland Raiders. They got a few players that I feel like ain't doing so great there, but will be a cheap pickup. Like maybe Diablo might want to be over here. Maybe he's feeling like he's not getting his free shot. Maybe people not feeling the guard. I can't think of his damn name right now. I'm drawing a blank. But they got a guard over there that I'm like, hey, maybe he's not happy, or maybe he just need a new change of scenery.
Young guy, old guy.
Yeah, he like mid-age. He been there for a minute. I just can't think of his name for the life of me.
Not Richard Incognito, right? You ain't talking about him, right?
No, hell no.
Oh no. I was like, yeah. I was like,
hell no. Look it up. But I'm just saying, like, to me, this needs to be the most aggressive offseason of the off seasons. Like I'm serious. I'm making phone calls. You want this? Let me get that. Because I'm gonna tell you the truth. People will fall in love with what they saw this year, and don't realize that a lot of things have already changed that you should be concerned with. Starting with the Panthers getting Frank Wright. You need to be concerned about that. You need to be concerned about the Vikings getting their players back from injury. That's more nerve-wracking to see that than Aaron Rodgers. Like, that's how I'm looking at it. You need to be concerned with that. You need to be concerned that the Bears actually start to surround fields with weapons.
They got some money to spend.
Yeah.
They got $90 million over the cap. That's like good.
See what I'm saying? And they're not gonna be cheap. So since they're gonna be in the spending business, I'm like, let's get in the trading business, because you already know you're gonna get money back for cutting Big V. You're gonna cut Michael Brockers. You're gonna cut a lot of people.
We need that Michael Brockers, man. We need to cut him, like not now, but right now.
Now, but before now, right?
Yeah, I mean, like yesterday now. I mean, that guy, man. Was he active? Was he active like in 10 games in the season? I don't think he was.
Listen, when we traded for him, I was like,
he had to be the
I was
most
like,
healthy
okay.
scratch in the league.
Listen, that's what I'm saying. Go ahead and dump him. Go ahead and dump him. Get that money. And I'm just saying, like, it's just certain players that I'm looking at that I'm like, bro, they on last year's of their deals. They got because they love them from Xavier Collins. Okay, keep Xavier Collins. Just go ahead and see Isaiah Simmons over here. Keep Xavier. You know, like I'm just putting it out there.
I'm looking at a guy. I'm looking at him. I'm like, looking at Big V. I'm looking at Michael Brockers. I mean, then you're looking at this at what we have, and like here's my thing. You got a team that you got a guys that was what do you call that? You had a team that did more with less, and like some of the guys that weren't on the field, they're not gonna be here because we had guys they brought in that were the young guys that are already developed now, so they kind of got forced. They developed the young guys faster than what they thought they were going to do because they had to play because the guys got injured in front of them. So you got Michael Brockers, you got a Charles Harris, you got a Big B. Those guys aren't going to be in the roster next year.
And you know the thing that people like, because I'm gonna tell you right now, there's some things going on this offseason in terms of media that's irritating me. But I know you got to push narratives, and I'm just gonna put it out there. There's no bigger narrative that's irritating me more than the idea of a pass rusher at 6. Like I'm trying to figure out where you putting all these fucking people. Like I'm not trying to be funny, but really, where are you putting all these people at? Like if you mess around and draft a person at 6, and I'm James Houston on the last year, and I just had the season I had. Okay. Yeah, let me just get up out of here. Well, we want to re-sign you. Yeah, I'm not interested.
Yeah, and someone else, Jeff Resden said that. He was like, I don't know where this is coming from. Defensive tackle, yes. Defensive end, pass rusher at 6, no.
It doesn't. Listen, if you take them later because you want to have a little bit more depth, okay, cool. You know, but
a pass rusher priority.
No.
Priority right
and even if the D tackle talk to me is a little, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, listen, it's the 6th pick. It's really only like 2 things you can do with that 6th overall pick, and I hate to say this. It's either 1, trade the pick. In my opinion, you either can trade the pick, which is great, or 2, take the quarterback. Because I know people don't want to hear that. Oh, we got Jared Goff, and that's great. That's perfectly fine. You can have Jared Goff. Everybody's entitled to that. I'm not mad at that, not one bit. But here's my problem. What happens if Jared Goff get hurt? You feel good about Nate Stubblefield?
Hell no.
I didn't feel. It wasn't. Whatever his goddamn name. Whatever his name is. Whatever. I didn't feel good about him. I didn't feel good about. I felt better about David Blau than I did him. And so my attitude is this. What about who's the guy that pushes your quarterback to be better?
Right.
Right.
That's the problem.
I'm not sure that I'm taking the quarterback, but I understand. I understand your premise for that. I'm saying trade back. That would be my thing. If you the big person that if he drops to 6, I'm taking him. If Jalen Carter slides to 6, I'm taking him.
He been scaring the crap out of me at the was it the Senior Bowl practices?
Is he playing? Is that the Senior Bowl?
I thought that was him. That I was looking at. It might not have been.
I don't think.
But I thought that was him.
I haven't heard his name at the Senior Bowl practice. I heard his name.
Oh, okay. I thought I saw something that said that he was at this. I thought I saw him in the 1-on-1, or maybe it was a different Carter. I was like, who? I'm like, that's Jalen Carter, because he wasn't. He wasn't getting no push.
No, he get pushed everything. He get pushed.
So who's the Carter? Who's the Carter at the Senior Bowl? Then do anybody know who that guy is?
I don't know who that is.
I was watching the one-on-ones and I saw Carter and I was like, "What the hell?"
Carter. It's not Jamie.
Oh, okay, cool, okay,
that ain't him.
cool.
That is not him at all whatsoever. Let's just get into a couple of comments right quick because I see one that I want to address.
Oh, he said that's Carter from Georgia Tech. Oh,
yeah,
I saw Carter. Listen, I saw the name Carter on the back of the jersey. I'm up here like doing stuff with my sons. Yeah. I saw the name on the Carter, the back of the jersey, and then I saw the lineman. I'm like, God damn it! You gonna do a counter? You gonna do something? Yeah. And then I'm like, damn! I'm like, that can't be the same guy I was watching. But I didn't even pay attention to it enough to like rewind it back. I just saw Carter, and I just saw that they was losing a lot of reps. Yeah. So he said that's from Georgia Tech. Okay.
Yeah, Ron Carter. All right. King SJ says we'll cut Brockers, Big V. Romeo has too much dead cap space. They're not gonna cut Romeo because his amount of dead cap.
Yeah, Romeo ain't going nowhere.
Romeo ain't going
nowhere. Now Julian. Julian, on the other hand, might be in trouble.
He may be suspect for type of block, but yeah, the raw core brother, right? Yeah, but yeah, I was like, huh? But but Carter, he's already he's not eligible for the Senior Bowl, but he's already declared for the draft, so he will be one of those guys, man. That dude, when I saw him pick up the guy, I can't even remember who it was, and he just picked him up like he was carrying around like he was a little kid. I'm like, this dude right here, that dude is a freaking monster. If we can get that Penei Sewell type of slide where he just kept sliding out because people were moving up. I'm like, yeah, keep sliding down the draft board. Yeah, that'd be great. But
I think you're gonna get a lot of people to slide, and I like the idea that Dan point out. Hendon Hooker in the third. I take him in the third. He let him sit. He can't be worse than what we just had to look at. Like, you don't even understand. Like, like every time Jared Goff will take off and run, my heart would be like, no, don't do this to us. Why? Don't do this to us. My blood pressure will go up.
He's a little more doable than what people would think he is. You think about that. I think he's only missed 2 games his whole career. He missed 1 game in Detroit and 1 game out in LA. Missed 2 games.
See, I get that, but here's the thing. If you remember, there was a few different games where he took off and ran, and they drilled him. They drilled him. I was like, nah, I don't need you doing that, brother. I don't need you. I need you healthy for the season. So
we were darn lucky he didn't get hurt last year.
Now let's look at this last question because I wanted to ask you guys this. We talked about this a little earlier. We kind of hinted at it. All right. Tell me what you think about Dre Bly and Steve Hayden coming into the coaching staff.
Tim can go first.
Oh, okay. Well, actually, they are former players of the line, so it gives them some responsibility to the team, some connection and stuff like that. Hey, I just got to see how they're going to do, in their roles. If they're really going to help the team, hey, great. But heck, Dan Campbell was a former player of ours, and look what he's brought.
Right, I feel you. For me, it's more of the same. And Dan Campbell's going to bring in the guys that are going to fit the mold, bringing in former players, and for some of the younger players, they respect the opinion of guys that's been there. You know what I'm saying? That strapped them up. They've been, especially like a guy like Dre Bly, and people are talking about, well, he have the secondary down that or the corners at UNC. Okay, college program versus pro, 2 totally different things. He doesn't control who's recruited to North Carolina. And I will tell you right this, I live in North Carolina. They don't have the best, I guess they're not getting the best recruits. They're not getting a whole bunch of 4- and 5-star corners at UNC. That's a basketball school. They're not a football school.
Exactly.
So
Julius Peppers was a goddamn outlier. That's
but Dre Bly played at North Carolina, so he was an outlier. You get the guys, and then of course one of the greatest defensive players to ever play the game played at North Carolina, Lawrence Taylor. But you get those outliers that are like that. But you think about this, you're not. It's like you look at how many years were between all of those players. It's not like you getting a plethora of defensive players out of North Carolina. It ain't happening. So,
right.
But I think that they're going to put him in a position where he's going to be able to come in and teach, and and coaching at the college level and coaching in the NFL is two totally different animals. So, but I like what Dan Campbell's doing. Like you said, he's bringing in some guys that fit that build, and they're going to bring that competitive nature to the Lions. What you got on this one, Luke G?
I didn't care who the hell they brought in. I don't care. I trust. Listen. If no, I'm serious. If I looked up and Dan Campbell's like, yeah, we're gonna hire Tim and Curt. Great job. Because I understand when he hires you, he's hiring you for attitude. Mm-hmm. He's hiring you for one. He believes that you can bring something that can be used to benefit the team, and it's about an attitude. So when I look at, but I see coaches leave and go, I trust Dan Campbell. I really do, because I'm telling you, when you hear the players talk about him, it's almost like they don't want to let him go. It's like they found the perfect mate, and I can't let him go. Yeah, right. And so to me, I don't care who you bring in. You know what I'm saying? Now, there's like if he somehow deemed that Matt Patricia would be a good DC, good job. He ain't the head coach. He ain't calling the big shots. He ain't making a decision. I don't care.
You know what? No, even when he was in, and here's the thing. I don't know people know this. Even when Patricia was a DC, he wasn't really calling a lot of plays. It was still yeah. It was still Belichick was calling that shit. It was not him, man.
So I don't listen. Dre Bly, great. I like the way he was here. He was cool. The tight end, don't know much about him, but he here, cool. I don't care. I trust the head coach. The head coach has shown me, if you do your job, you'll be here. If you don't, you won't be here. I respect that.
Mr. Scotty the Bear, I love you, brother, but hell no. I don't want to see a wide receiver. Hell no. I don't want to see a wide receiver.
Does he think we're back with
Matt Millen?
Yeah, Matt Millen. Yeah.
No.
That's why for me, it's really only quarterback or trade down. I'm not taking a D tackle at 6. At that point, I feel like I'm forcing it. I'm not is either quarterback or trade down, and preferably trade down, because to me, what you really want to do is somehow get those extra picks for next year. You want to come into next season with 2 first-round picks, and I know Carter is a lot of people love. That's 88, right, from Georgia, right?
Yeah.
So I know everybody like him. Everybody like Will Anderson. I like these people too. I think they're great, right? But the problem is with the emergence of Houston. Are you finna put Houston to the bench and we take Will Anderson? Well, all right. Well, I don't really like that idea. I want to kind of see where I can get out of Houston. And then when you think you say bring in Carter, it's like, okay, I force a D tackle there, but it's like, no. At that point, I would rather get my quarterback that I can start to groom and go from there. Because I need somebody that's gonna push him. And if you can trade down, it's even better. But if receiver came up, who are we taking that receiver? That's and again, it's not like you can't do it, to be honest, because I believe that you can potentially upgrade yourself from Chark. If people are taking pay cuts, keep them. If they're not taking pay cuts, move on.
The upgrade from Chark is already on the roster.
Who's that?
Jameson Williams. He's the upgrade. From
I'm concerned about Jameson. I'm trying to be cool about it, but I'm concerned about Jameson. Jameson this past season showed some real emotional ways. That's the word I'm gonna use. I'm not gonna say diva. I'm gonna say emotional ways. He was showing some emotion. And another thing I noticed with him, when the ball is not going his way or the play ain't going his way, he don't run his routes hard or Chris, or he's not selling that.
We can fix that. That's coachable. We can fix that.
Okay. All right. I'm just saying.
Hey, now it's time for final thoughts, man. We running out of time. We got a minute left in the show. Hey, Maniac Tim, give me your final thoughts for today's show.
The season may be over, but the drive for the Lions to be great is now. So let's just keep building this team, make it the best they can be, and make it so that Dan Campbell can say, Belichick, who make this team great.
Okay, I feel you. For me, for today's show, my final thoughts definitely are I miss being here. I miss being on the show, man. Thank you guys for tuning in right here on Detroit Lions, and probably your home for Detroit Lions news and rumors. Man, it's just great to be back. Shout out again to Val and everyone. And shout out to my man Mike Kimber over there at LNU, Herman Moore, all those guys over there, man. Thank you guys for joining us, man. And we do this show for you guys, and thank you guys for joining us right here, man. So have a great weekend. Enjoy a weekend off of no football, and get ready for the big game next week. Super Bowl Sundays next week, and we're gonna do our Super Bowl preview next week, and have some fun with it. So, what you got, Luke G? Please step to the pulpit and give us your final thoughts for today's show.
Man, I'm happy to be back. I needed some much needed self-care, and I'm happy to get to doing it. And it brings me to today's positive quote. There's no greater failure than giving up. Boy, I had to remind myself of that this recent time. There's no greater failure than giving up. I think that we find ourselves in positions where the easy thing is to just stop, quit, and give up. I think that it becomes so conscious in our spirits to just say, you know what, I can come back and do it later, right? But the thing that you need to understand is when you push through the pain, when you push through the hurt, when you push through the exhaustion, when you push through the nights of not getting sleep, when you push through and never give up, that is where you start to find real power. That's where you start to find real strength. That's where you become better. That's when you build something that is meant to be great. You see, the giving up part is the failure. The saying that, oh, I'll just come back later. Oh, I couldn't do this right now. I tried. No. There is no quit. There is no give up. There's no surrender. There's only get up, go, and keep going. They're going to knock you down. They're going to doubt you. They're going to tell you this. They're going to tell you that. But you get to tell them what you want. You get to write your ship. You get to be the author. You get to be the one who determines the outcomes. That is why giving up is the only failure. And when you've learned that your real power comes in your ability to just keep going, one foot in front of the other, one breath in front of the other, one spirit before the other, all you have to do is just tell yourself, failure is not an option because I'm never giving up. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, hit that like, subscribe, join the family, join the club. And if you don't do nothing else, don't be no chump. Please do your research. Welcome back, everybody.
Thank you for joining us, man. Hey, do me a favor, man. Have a great weekend. Be with your loved ones, man. If you need some help, if you need to set some self-care, and you need to get your mentals checked out, man, go ahead and do that, man. It's definitely important, man. And we need you right here, man. And we miss you guys right here in Detroit Lions on the Prowl, man. Hey, do me a favor. Whatever you're doing in life, you got to boss up, ball out, and be the best version of you that you can be. For the panel, this is Curt Steele, and we will holler at you real soon. We love you, Jim.